with Jenna, and I'm going to adjust a little bit. So, Jenna, you start talking.
Well,
Happy Valentine's Day.
happy Valentine's Day. We were literally just talking, the two of us, about how it's so easy to assume that everybody wants the same thing out of love, and the same people love all the same way, right?
Yes.
But now we've kind of, after discussing it, we kind of know that it's not true, because different people want different things from their partners or their lovers.
Different people are turned on by different things in different people. For example, I was telling Jenna how I have Venus in Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was born, the planet Venus, it's hard to describe exactly, but Venus in Capricorn, your Venus, where Venus was when you were born, and mine was in Capricorn, is how you love.
So Venus, wherever Venus is, is how you love. Yeah.
Yeah. So wherever Mars is how you are acting in this world. But we're specifically talking about Venus because it's the planet of love and how you love. So Venus in Capricorn, for example, somebody with Venus in Capricorn would really appreciate, admire, and be attracted to someone with Capricorn like tendencies: stable, steadfast, slowly moving up a mountain, somebody whose status is important to them. It's not flash in the pan, it's not a quick fix, it's not, for example, and I was explaining to Patrick, it's not like Venus and Sagittarius.
And then it's so funny,
home,
I said to Dora, I have Venus in Sagittarius.
And it's so funny, you were my example. How weird is that?
How weird is that?
I was like, well, he said to me, well, doesn't everybody love stable and loyal and steadfast and true? And I said, actually, not. For example, if a woman has Venus in Sagittarius, he said, doesn't every woman want that? And I was like, no. If a woman has Venus in Sagittarius, she would find adventure appealing. She would find it sexy if a man is kind of decadent, like the god of wine, Dionysus, like decadence and wine and food and ebullience and rich things in life, and kind of fly by the seat of his pants. He'll go this way and then he'll go that way, and so you would have a great admiration for that and affection for that.
Yeah, and that's so me. And so I guess it just shows you that, like, you assume that everybody wants the same thing, but actually not at all. And different ones of us have different things that we look for in a partner, which is so fascinating to me, because I think there is this easy assumption that, like, everyone works the same way as you, and they just don't.
No. Different things are appealing. So, for example, Patrick's Venus is in Capricorn, and my sun sign is Capricorn, so it makes sense that I'm his ideal in love.
Oh, so does that mean I'd be attracted to Sagittarius as if my Venus is in Sagittarius? Oh. Oh, how interesting.
And Sagittarians, um, uh, your boyfriend is Taurian, and that's about sensuality, like the god of god Dionysus, like wine and sensuality and rich things. There's a lot of reasons why you're attracted to him,
but that's definitely
many of them. But the Taurian sensibility of you also need stability. I forget what in your chart says that, but Taurians are not only sensual and into wine and food, they're also very stable characters.
Right.
And that's very appealing to you. You need that in love. So
they're like very homey and not flight. They're grounded. That's what they are. And I'm flighty.
And
so
you like that because you have a lot of air and you need the groundedness. He's a bull,
He's
totally, a bull in his pen. Fascinating because he's very adventurous, so there must be something in his chart. I don't know what is going on. But
Me neither.
He's kind of adventurous in his taste and
it's like, I guess you can be one of them in one area of your life and the other in another. Like, he's adventurous in some ways and then not in others, you know?
Right.
But then what would, like, a Venus in Cancer be?
Somebody who has Venus in Cancer, and you guys can all find this out in your astrological chart. Just go to astro.com if you know your birth time. Venus in Cancer, they would appreciate Cancerian qualities of depth and someone whose ability to feel and show emotion. Somebody who has the sensitivity enough. If somebody has water in their chart strongly, they can be emotional.
Right.
And somebody who doesn't have water, they're a little more lofty. So if you need water, then you need to be with somebody who has some strong water in their chart. So Cancerians are extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
And somewhat crabby. They can go underground. Like it's not always easy. I have my moon in Cancer. It's not always pretty, but for the most part, you will know that they're intuitive and emotional enough to hold space with you with your emotions.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess really the goal is then like getting to know what it is that you want out of people, so
Yeah.
that you know, like when you're like assessing someone or someone's in your life, you can see like, okay, are they fulfilling what it is that I specifically need, not someone who's on paper like, you know, the things we're all supposed to want from another human being or something, because that isn't really like knowing what you need yourself.
That's so true. And doesn't that come back to how you're going to get what you want if you don't know what you need?
Yeah.
How are you going to manifest anything if you don't know what it is your needs are?
It's so true. It's so true. And it's just, I guess we don't think about it like that in as much as relationships, because whenever we're thinking about manifesting, it's always like things, like career or like
I want to have that dress or that house or those shoes. I want to be able to travel. But what about the needs you have? There's some serious basic needs. Like, I know I need honesty, loyalty, dependability more than anything. Without that feeling of safety, it's a no go.
That's so interesting.
They're not, nobody could possibly be a serious contender unless they're stable. And I won't feel stable unless they're a serious contender. I cannot be attracted to someone for small affairs or just sex, or there's usually something that draws me to them where I at least think, or at least I'll lead myself to believe that it could be future. It has to be that for me.
Yeah, how interesting.
When some people are like, I'm going to enjoy this in the now, and I don't know about the future.
Right. That's totally me. Like, I'm like, okay, sure. Like, let's just,
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like, so I can love Jenna, but we can be in that hair. Why? Look at that. I'm like alfalfa. But like, I can. It's so fascinating that you're different in that way. That you can just love, and you don't need to be committed or tied down.
Well, what makes me feel, I guess, because what you're saying is the stability makes you feel safe. What makes me feel safe, I think, is something different. And I think obviously most people want to feel safe. But what makes me feel safe, I guess, is feeling like the person understands me or gets me. Like, if someone has taken, like, the most attractive thing for me is if someone's taken the time to, like, really ask me questions and, like, figure out who I am and, like, all my little, like, details. Then I'm like, okay, that's someone who, like, as long as they get me, then I'm fine. If you don't get me, then I'm in trouble.
Then you're
like,
lost. Then you're, like, alone. It's a terrible feeling if somebody doesn't get you.
Yeah.
But then again, some people don't need that, right?
No.
Right. They're like,
I know, think about my mom, like, she doesn't care if my dad, like,
gets
wants
her
to sit her down and all, like, she's like, whatever, like, I don't, like, that's not, she gets that from her girlfriends. So maybe that's the other thing, is, like, we're not really supposed to get everything from a guy in the first place.
Don't we all have to remind ourselves of that? I think because of our culture and because we all used to be tribal. We used to be like in like an enclave with our aunts and our uncles and our sisters and our brothers and then their children, and then the grandmother could pitch in her advice and the aunt could go, come with me, Jenna, let's get you away from this situation. You need to cool down. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you get the laughter with your grandmother and the talks with your aunt and the blah 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 with your sister. But now we're so globally close to each other. Jenna lives in London. I'm here. Thank God we have our time together. But like, usually you're just with your
voice notes.
Right, for voice messages that we leave each other. But like, what if really all of it depends, like with the one person you're living with, when we used to live with so many. So I think it's a good check to tell ourselves, wait, why am I expecting this man to be everything? Like, he needs to be stable and loyal and true and funny, or funny and this and this and this. Like, isn't that a bit much to ask of one human?
Yeah, and also, like, we're not all those things either. Like, I'm so grateful for the fact that, like, you know, my boyfriend has a ton of other people in his life that he gets things from me that I don't, you know, he doesn't need to get from me. Like, I'm so happy when he wants to go off and have a boys' dinner, and I'll never try and get myself invited or go, because I'm like, you fill that need, like, you go do that thing, and then I'm more interesting, and it's like what we have is more like fun and special because it isn't that.
Right, like I'm never gonna get on the back of Patrick's motorcycle and go for like a 1 month motorcycle trip. Like that
Right.
just, but go. Like
Yeah.
do that. Go do that with a guy friend. It's not
Yeah.
my, yeah, it's not my thing.
No, and like
Mm-mm.
I also never understand why there's this thing, and I've done it before in other relationships where it's like you want to be the person that ends up doing everything with that person, even though when you fell in love with them, you knew that they did that with other people or with other, just had their own interests as well, you know. And I see it happen pretty often. I think
With
where women, like probably quite a lot of my girlfriends, will want to
do
be the
everything.
everything.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Especially if it
But
doesn't work out.
But I think that's conditioning from our parents, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's like unless you like perform all the roles of like what a good girlfriend is, then it's almost like you have to make yourself indispensable because that's how no one's ever going to leave you. So it's like you
Okay, so
have
it
to do
comes from
all the things.
a needy kind of thing.
Whereas like if
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning you're like, look, I don't like to cook or whatever, and I never will, and I'm just not that kind of person.
Never gonna do that.
Then that person's free to love you for who you are.
Yeah.
Instead of like taking on this extra role for yourself where
How
you're like,
exhausting.
yeah,
If that person who doesn't cook tries to like cook and be like home domestic mama,
right,
and it's just not their thing.
yeah, well then it's like a short there's an expiration date on that then
Hold the
because
balloon. I want to
there's
wait.
an
I want to
expiration
switch
date on
off the
that.
low power mode. Wait, hold on, because if we get cut off, we're cut off. But I think we'll be fine. Happy Valentine's Day,
Happy
Marianne
Valentine's
and
Day.
Ani, honey.
That's a good question. Someone wrote, how did you
You see it? What?
how did you go scroll down a bit?
Okay.
Someone wrote, how did you find your tribe or something? How can we choose our tribe as we evolve? Can I hear freedom?
How can you choose your tribe as you evolve? I don't know if it's much as choosing your tribe for me. It's letting go of who's not your tribe,
Ooh.
and that's the freedom, and being okay with being by yourself until your true
Yes.
tribe appears. And that
Yes.
could be a long time, or it could be tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think you're right, it's inevitable wherever you're at in terms of your vibration, you just naturally magnetize the people that are supposed to be in your life anyway.
Yeah,
So there's
talk
no
to
like
them, 'cause I'm getting a can. Oh,
well, I guess there's no like cultivating how you do things. I guess that's like one of the things that's been really on my mind recently is like, we have this expectation in our culture that we always have to be the ones that have to figure everything out. But it really isn't like that at all. It's so much more that we just have to be what we want. And then the universe does the 90% of the work, which is like the figuring out. Like, we're not smart enough or powerful enough to move mountains and make things happen and arrange synchronicities and things. That's all that's all the universe is doing. And we can't kind of fool ourselves that we're at the reins that much. But what we can do is look after our own state of mind. What are you looking for?
Matches.
Oh,
Do we have no lighter?
I haven't seen
Why
one.
did I leave you with none?
No.
Alright, I'll call Santa.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because I feel like if we accept that life is easy and that, our vibration will speak for us, then that's a huge relief for me. Like, I know I don't have to like actively go out there and search for my tribe, but I know that if I set the intention to find good people and I tell the universe with my voice and also just my energy that I'm open and that that's something that I want and that I'm free to be like receiving whatever it wants me to have, then the rest just kind of figures itself out. Like it's safe for me to let the reins go and get the universe to take the reins from me, and then I'm just like the happy passenger of my own life. That's always a little better for me because then there's not this pressure to like have everything figured out or to pretend like I have everything figured out. Which there's a strength to that, I think, a lot. Like it's just a big weight off your shoulders to feel like, oh, I have to find my people, or I have to find my guy, or I have to do this.
It may like be okay with being by yourself.
Yeah.
Be okay with the vacuum.
Well, the vacuum is also magical then, because that's when you're basically saying, I'm open for business. I'm not cluttering my energy with
just because. Just because.
Just just keeping.
I think that's
full.
the thing. I think that's the thing. Is like, yeah, I'm not cluttering. I'm here. I'm okay with myself. I am who I would like to love. I am the person I can offer me up, not needy me up, or me
Yes.
with like,
Needy me.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm not needy me, I'm whole me, and sometimes I'm lonely me, but I'm still me.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. I had a girlfriend of mine who just broke up with her boyfriend. They went on a break for a little bit, and it turned out that it wasn't working, and they didn't stay together. But she said to me, you know, I feel so relieved to be broken up with him from him because I was doing so many things that I didn't want to do in that relationship. And so I said to her, that's really interesting because it's such a good reminder that whoever you fall in love with next, you can kind of start being in that relationship now where you literally refuse to compromise on certain things, whether you're lonely or, I mean, whether you're single or whether you're taken, you're still the person that you want to be in a relationship. Without the relationship, you are that person, you are in your own integrity, right? So I said to her, whether you get back together with him, you still want to be a different person. You have to be the person that you always wanted yourself to be. And then whether you're in a relationship or not, that's going to at least lead to you being in a relationship that's of your authentic, someone who's in love with your authentic self.
Yes, and maintaining that when she's going back to do a dance with a partner where they have their dance steps is kind of tricky.
Yeah.
If you've not
That's
been
the
that
challenge.
person
Yeah.
and you're going back, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And will that person really enjoy you doing your
As
new
you
dance
are.
steps?
Yeah.
Your
And then if they
authentic
don't,
ones.
but then if they don't, I always think like what
yeah,
you've
it's
done
okay.
is
Yeah.
like people have selected themselves out of the race to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your partner or whatever. It's like, it's okay. It's not offensive if someone doesn't like what you're about. Like, it's not like a rejection on your own worth or your
You're
own
very
whatever.
good at
It's
that.
like,
You're very good at that.
do you think?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw when you had a breakup with somebody special how you were like, yeah, this isn't working. You were very like, no, this isn't working. It wasn't very it's not that you weren't emotional or caring, but you just got to a point where you saw it for what it was, and that made you able to act on the parting.
But don't you think that sometimes the universe sends you small signs, small signs, small signs, small signs?
And then it's so obvious.
And then when it's so big, it almost like it doesn't even give you a choice anymore. And when you
you
realize that
didn't
you don't have a choice
anymore.
like it's
Yeah.
almost because I was blind to the signs before.
Yeah.
That when
I
you
guess-
no longer have a choice, you're like, okay, that's
when you
fine.
got here and he had done his final sign, which was so obvious to us when you told me, I was like, oh yeah, that's the sign. The
Yeah.
universe makes somebody sometimes act in a way that you could never take them back,
Yeah.
or just you can't. It's like things that make you go, you
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
That's how you really feel. Good to know. Let's plug this into. Can we charge the phone here? Do you
Yeah.
have any way in your computer or a charger?
Yeah, let me grab my
or-
charger. Hold on.
Do you need? How's your computer doing? Do you need my charger?
No, I
you
actually
can-
ended up working it out, so it's
You
fine.
did?
Yeah,
You sure?
but I have it.
Because
Yeah.
I can get my charger.
No, I have a charger here.
You don't
Here
need
we
a
go.
computer charger anymore?
No,
Okay, cool.
there we go.
And do you need an extension cord?
No.
How are we going to charge it?
But it's funny because someone asked me the other day.
You think it's going to go?
No.
Wait, I could fit it. Wait, I don't know why the balloon. I'm like, hold the balloon like it needs to be in. It doesn't need to be in. Okay.
Someone asked me the other day though. They asked me actually about human design, and they were like, "How did you come to this career?" And I was like, "Well,
Yeah, tell
I
them that-
ignored.
Yeah.
I ignored the signs of the universe trying to get me to quit my other job or like close down my other job for a year and a half almost.
Yeah.
And then only when I finally didn't, like, the universe stopped giving me the choice because I wasn't even listening to the fact that I had a choice. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, no, say this again because I moved the camera and maybe they're confused.
Oh, what is human design? Someone's saying. Okay, so human design, I kind of describe, to me what it is, it's kind of like the contract that your soul makes with the universe about who you come to be before you're here. So it's like looking at your energetic body, your aura, and everything to do with how you're supposed to operate. So it's kind of like your soul pre-said before it came here, like, this is who I want to be, this is who my highest self is, and you basically get your own user's manual as to how to be that rather than be the one that, you know, has to be like everybody else.
Your own user's manual. I love that. Like,
Yeah.
this is who you came to be. So it's astrology on steroids because it it combines astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and it's your own personal map. And for some really amazing reason, Jenna has a way of being able to assimilate the information, whatever is given to us by things you've read or things you've heard about, and then she has her own view because she's a projector, which is some of us who know things. She's able to see it from a bird's eye view and get a read and a hit on what's going on with you, and able to, with words of integrity, which is extremely important to me. I will not do readings with anyone, even if they see things, they know things, but their words and their intention has to be pure.
Yeah.
Right? So Jenna's just like not attached. It's like this, just the information comes and she's able to see it. And so this idea that it's your what did you call it? Your map?
Your guidebook.
Your guidebook.
It's like you have a different one. And I feel so cheated sometimes in common like spiritual circles where it's like, this is how you manifest, or this is how you get what you want, or this is how you be successful at being spiritual, or
because everybody's different.
Because everyone's different. So, waking up every morning and having crystals and meditating doesn't work for everybody. And for some people, having that structure and that routine is not conducive to them living as who they're supposed to be, or living as their highest self, or being most successful, or whatever. So it's
right,
really
just because so and so can do this kind of marketing doesn't mean like that's the way you should go about being successful. Or so and so loves in a certain way, it's not really your way.
Yes.
Or eats a certain way, or sleeps a certain way. So that's what Jen and I want to do while she's here, is talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about, we're going to talk about how each different type of human design personality relates to sex and food and sleeping. So she's like a coach. She's like a seer, a beautiful word speaker of ways in which to enhance your existence. But you described how you would put it on your website. There's a website now, yes?
Yeah, so
wow.
my website, I know.
When we started talking about this, there wasn't one.
Even, by the way, Dara was the one that said to me, like, and that was my first sign from the universe, like, you should do this for a living.
Out of nowhere.
Literally.
Like, out of nowhere, I was like, boom, it came to me, and I'm like, Jenna, you need to read human design.
I know, and at the time I was like, what is she talking about? Like, how? And I was just running a food business, basically, so it was a totally different thing. Well, and it took me a year and a half to basically let go of that food business fully, just because the universe was always sending me signs that I needed to close it down, but I just wasn't listening. And
I'm the queen of closing it down. I'm the queen.
But there's so much wisdom in like learning when to stop something or not do something, or
I'm the queen of letting go.
So how do you do that then? Like, what's your process?
My god. Basically, it's so simple. It's like, does it tickle me, the idea of dropping it? Okay, yes.
Oh, wow.
Like, does the idea of dropping it like a hot potato feel exciting? Yes. Is there something else that feels peaceful? Yes, then that's it. It's
like decluttering, exactly the same. It's an extension of that for sure.
It goes for people, places, things, and careers. Like,
does it excite me to drop it? Yeah.
Is it hard to drop it, but it's still exciting? Like, it's not easy to let go of something you invested money in. It's not easy to let go of a friendship you've invested time in. It's not easy to let go of something you spend a lot of money on. It's not, or time. It's not easy. But is there some excitement at the thought of
Yeah. For me, when I thought about closing down my food business, there was just relief, like crazy. Like, I just felt like a weight had lifted off my shoulders. And it's a good reminder that things are supposed to be ease-filled for us. Like, life isn't supposed to be heavy and hard. And, like, if it is, there's something wrong, because it's your soul responding to something that makes it feel heavy and hard. Like, that's your reaction to something, you're probably not supposed to be doing it. Whereas, like, with human design, it feels, like, light and easy and free and fun.
When I think about you doing readings and then roaming and getting sunshine and being you, it sounds a lot better to me than laboring over things, or hustling to sell things, or worrying about the weight of the thing.
Which other people, that's their dream, like,
oh my god,
I know tons of people that love to
push forward, push a thing over an obstacle, figure out, like, you're creative, but I don't think that's your creativity.
No, not at all.
Not mine either.
So it's interesting, because I guess you know, this applies to this and love and career and life. It's like the more you know yourself and your own needs and what you want out of something, the more you're able to clearly assess from a detached perspective whether what is coming into your life is actually fulfilling those needs or not. And then you can say, yes, it's fulfilling my needs, let's keep doing it, or no, it isn't, so let's fix something.
So you're saying trying something, the thing new.
Yeah.
And saying, is it fulfilling my needs?
Yeah, but
so this
you
is
need
after...
to know your needs first, right? So it's like, you know, with love or with career or with anything, the more you know what you want out of something, then you go, okay, is it like, so say for example with me with career, I love things that feel light and easy and free. So then I can ask the question, does it feel light and easy and free? But if I don't even know that about myself, then I might be convincing myself that I'm fine, or that I should be fine, or that I should just get on with it, or that everyone has things that are hard and heavy, so that's the way things go. True. And the same with career, the same with love. Like, oh, if someone said to me, like, don't you want something that's a bit more stable? If I didn't know myself, then maybe I'd be like, yeah, maybe that's what I should want out of a potential partner.
Yeah, you'd be listening to somebody else's idea. You'd be listening to somebody else's idea what they need. Because if I said to Jenna, which I haven't, thank goodness, like, wouldn't you want somebody who's like this or that? Like, what? And then
I might go, maybe you're right. Like, maybe there's something wrong with me.
Words are so important. Words, and words are like food, and they could be like McDonald's, or they could be like oranges and apples, or beautiful. Chocolate. Good raw vegan chocolate. So that's why it's so important who we consider as a source or a resource for our intimate or our confidants, because if somebody else is projecting their ideas, then they are going to influence us. I'm easily influenced. I'm a projector. Like this lady at the store today, I was buying these white canisters, and they're so smooth and pretty with these little acacia wood tops, and I was like, oh, coconut sugar in one, and dandy blend in another, and salt in the other. And then I get to the counter, and she goes, well, I have the charcoal ones. And I was like, I was like, I'm gonna get the charcoal ones because they're gonna sit on this white tile, and maybe the contrast will be nice. Guess what? I went over and they didn't have the right sizes. I was like, nope, I'm sticking with my.
Wow, that was
it's just so funny. Like, happy Valentine's Day, Robin of Kindry Skincare.
Oh, wow.
Of all things beautiful. Yes. Words are food for ourselves.
That's so
like,
it's so true.
If you're with someone and they say not so nice words, see how long they stick with you. See how long those words stick with you. And if they're a friend, you can defriend them. If they're a family member, you can defamily them. It's much harder. It's much harder. So you kind of have to let it bead off of your, you know how like if you have a raincoat and water gets on, it just kind of has to bead off of you. You can't let it permeate.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I guess it's also seeing that it's not, like, it's like you said, it's the projection of someone else's. It's like as soon as you can understand that it's not about you, whatever they're saying, it takes the pressure off it for sure.
I still don't know if it doesn't sink in. Even if you know that it's theirs. It depends. Like, it depends. It really depends how far along you are at being good at knowing it's theirs, and how weak you are at any moment, because we're all vulnerable, more vulnerable at certain moments than others. But for the most part, if you can see that somebody's projections are just a reflection of what's going on with them, then it makes it safer for you to be around them. But if it's new for you and you're not so practiced,
it's not great then.
No, then just, like the pancakes or the weird clutter, what's more important, that or you?
I guess it also.
Do you want to come closer to be in the light? Are you good there? Yeah, okay.
But I also think that it comes with knowing what your pain points are. So then like, if someone calls you something that you find really painful, you can, like, for example, I know that I don't like it when people call me loud or anything like that, anything to do with being loud.
Are you loud?
Well, no, I don't think I am, but my mom always called me, like, if I... when I was a kid, if I was a kid and I spoke up too much, it would be like, you sound like a fishwife, don't be loud, be elegant, be dainty, be this, be that. And so the other day, I accidentally in the middle of the night the door slammed as I was going to the bathroom, and my boyfriend was like, "Oh, you closed the door so loudly," and that was like such a reaction for me because I was like, "What? I'm not loud and I'm this," and obviously in that moment I was being loud, so I was like not giving him a good. And then I stepped back for a second, and he was like, "Why did you have such a like? That's so abnormal to have such a big overreaction to just me saying the door was loud." And then I was like, "Oh, that's because it's a pain point because that's something that I was like shamed for as a kid." And therefore it just all comes back to like knowing yourself. I think the most valuable thing you can do with your time is know what your needs are, know what your pain points are, know what it is that your preferences are in this world, know what your belief systems are, like all of this
yours
stuff is like
and not your mother's, which is why human design is amazing, which is why you guys can try and figure it out on your own if you have the time and the inclination. It's extremely complicated, or you can call Jenna for a reading because she's got a handle on it. We're burning Palo Santo, we're not smoking. And
it smells so good.
I never heard you sound like a fishwife, but Marianne said her mother used to say that to her too.
No way.
And she never understood what that meant.
No
what
way.
does that mean, a fishwife?
It's basically like a fisherman's wife. Like
fish here, like that? Like, what does that mean?
I have no idea, but it's that kind of like old, kind of bossy. I have
not
no idea.
elegant or something.
Yeah, like it's a thing you tell a kid if they speak up too much, and it's how you shut them out. You know, like how you shut them up a bit. Like,
wow.
And I just remember being like, how can you, what is that even?
What did our mothers say to us? Like my mother, when I'd follow her around the house because I wanted to be near her, she'd say, "Don't haunt me."
Oh, wow.
Like I was a ghost or something, like haunting her.
Oh.
I know, right?
Oh, that's so cute.
I know. And
all you wanted to do was be close
near
to her.
Wow, her mother was born in 1907.
Wow, it's a very old term. How interesting.
Yeah, fishwife. You sound like a fishwife. Oh.
I think it's like a like a bossy wife, like a fisherman's bossy wife or something that like yells for him to come in from a day out on the sea or something. I have no idea, but I just remember it not sounding so good at age 7.
That does not sound good, and it doesn't even sound remotely applicable to you.
But I always think whenever you overreact, that's because there's a reason why you overreact. You know what I mean? That's where the knowledge is of like, oh, if I overreact to this thing that's disproportionate to what someone said.
Meanwhile, I love that your boyfriend could say, why, like how beautiful is that he could say, why did you overreact to that, instead of getting all mad at you or weirded out. What's going on with you? You know what I mean? Like that's pretty cool. That's very evolved.
Yeah, he helps me with that.
That's really evolved.
He's good at being like, hold on a second, what is, what's
See,
your
he
thing?
wants to get you.
Yeah,
he wants to get you. He
wants
to understand what's going on here, which satisfies your need to be understood.
Yeah, 100%.
I actually think, who doesn't want to be understood? I don't think many of us are aware that we possibly can.
Yeah.
Because as women, we're pretty complicated, and we're taught to believe that there's just no way a man could ever get it.
How many times I think about my mom being like, oh, men don't understand women, or like, men are more dumb, or men are more complex. So that gets into our brains and we start to believe it,
Not
and
your
instead
boyfriend.
I was like, oh, I want someone who like is interested in that stuff. And how he got me was asking me questions about my last breakup.
He did?
Yeah, that was like the way we first started bonding. He was like, so what happened and how did it happen and who was the guy and
I
what
remember.
did he say? And
I remember what he said.
And I just
You're
remember being like, wow, he's so interested.
Right now.
Yeah.
We have to be able to be accepted. So once you learn you're a projector or a manifester or a manifesting generator or even a reflector, which is only 1% of the population, once you know who you are, and then you're like, and you feel so good about, that's me, and then somebody criticizes you for being who you are, it becomes absolutely untenable to be with them, because you're like, but that's just who I am. Like,
100%.
How can you not, if you don't enjoy that, and I'm reveling in the fact that I finally know who I am, we have a problem.
We're not members of the same fan club here.
No, exactly.
It's interesting because after my last relationship where the guy just didn't get me at all, I realized that it started with me, and I was like, in my next relationship, it's going to be on me, and I'm going to be the one who has to like inform him or show him or like reveal who I am in every moment.
Yeah.
And that's what creates someone that understands you for you. It's like we have to do the work of, okay, like I'm going to be me in all these different scenarios so that he knows, and if he doesn't like it, then he can, we can part ways as soon as it's authentically
Right.
done.
Right.
You know?
So how do you find out about your human design? You go to mybodygraph.com and you plug in your birth time, your date, where you were born, and it will tell you what you are. And that's just the very beginning. Like if you're a manifestor, if you're a world leader, you're a projector and you know things, but you can't invite yourself into places, you cannot hustle. You can be invited, or you're a manifesting generator, so you have vision and you have the energy, or you're a generator and you have the enormous energy, or you're a reflector and that's a whole nother thing. But like you find out
Mybodygraph.com. It's
my
called.
not
Someone just
mind.
asked before this, I want to find out what I am, but what if it scares me? Well,
Which one would be scary?
I don't think any of them
No.
are scary, because when you kind of get reminded of the way that you work, your inner mechanics, and someone who's never met you from Adam can tell you this is who you are and it sounds like it's true to you, it just feels like a sigh of relief. And this idea that not liking what you are is based on this idea that we have. That's kind of the whole problem, is that we as a society believe this being this way is better than being this way, and being this way is better than being that way, and you sure as hell want to think of yourself as being that rather than this. And like we do this we're like swimming in a sea of judgment, and there shouldn't be any. Like there's
what
no
about
such thing as good or
a
bad.
lot of people, so when a manifestor finds out what they are, they're 8% of the population. They usually feel special because they're the world leaders. Projectors, 22%. We're people who know things. We have our own challenges. Okay, nobody's really upset to find out they're a projector usually. People who find out they're manifesting generators sometimes feel like, yay, I'm a superhero. Like, generators sometimes don't feel happy about it because they're 80% of the population. So what do you tell the generators who feel kind of common? That's what you hear, like, I was disappointed to find out I'm just a generator.
So generators, so you have projectors. In theory, this is what they say, projectors are about between 17 and 20% of the population. You have manifesting generators and generators, each about 34% of the population, somewhere in between there.
Manifestors and manifesting generators?
Manifesting generators are about 34, and generators are about 34, and then manifestors are about
really?
8. Yes.
I didn't realize that. I thought generators were like 80%.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that, I mean, even though
it's not that common.
It's not that common, but people still feel like, I don't want to be I don't want to be
just
special.
A generator.
And the thing is like, my biggest mission anyway is with like freeing the generators to be who they are, and being just a generator, a pure generator, is basically about understanding that you're here to light other people up, but you can only do so in lighting yourself up. So generators, like if you are a generator and you're listening to this, don't buy into this whole thing of like you're just a workhorse and you just have to be here to work. Like, you're not supposed to do anything that feels like work, because when you find the thing that brings you joy, it gives you more energy. It doesn't make you feel worse and worky and tired and exhausted.
So are there a lot of generators out there feeling just kind of like that?
Yeah.
Like,
I almost want to start a campaign called Free the Generator, where it's like we just allow all generators to follow their bliss and do what lights them up. And if you are a generator, you can probably identify with the fact that when you're doing the thing that lights you up, it almost gives you more energy. Like, it doesn't drain you. You can just keep doing that thing forever, and you just like love it so much.
Keep doing it.
And that's what creates the life force inside you. And the reason why we all need generators, and I think the reason why I'm like so passionate about freeing generators to just be able to do what lights them up and nothing else, is because we benefit so much, because they are the house of the life force among us. They make everybody else more excited, more inspired, more let out, more productive. Like, if I need to get something done, I will surround myself with gens or gens and just like be with them for a few hours. Then I'll go home and like type on my computer for like 2 hours and just like,
you know what, remember like Brooks, he's a generator, and I felt so jazzed when I worked with him.
Really?
And then I stopped working with anybody for a while, and I felt like like the light's gone out. Yeah.
And think about an electricity generator. That's what it is it spreads sparkle. And that's what generators have to do. They want to be their highest, sparkliest, juiciest selves, so that really what their covert mission on the planet is to help everyone else be more juicy and sparkly and bright. But they can't do that by only doing things that make them bitter and annoyed.
They said your name is even Jen. That's cute.
That's
There's
cute.
a generator who said, I'm a generator, LOL. And her name was Jen.
That's sweet.
That's funny.
That's so cute.
So, like, you can look into it yourself, and some of you will have an affinity for it and have the time to do it. Like, I had a love for learning human design, but time didn't permit, and my energy, attention to the matter didn't permit. And I think that some of us, I really feel like projectors, especially, do they say that about projectors in human design that they, yeah, Jenna has like a way of just looking down. It's pretty
Projectors,
cool.
I think it's like they just feel like, because projectors basically have an aura where they see other people so clearly, the thing they long to see, the thing they long to feel more than anything else is to feel seen by the other. And so when you get your reading as a projector and you finally feel seen for who you are, you're like, oh, okay.
Projectors really get it. Like, thank God somebody sees me.
Thank God someone sees me. Which is exactly why you need the invitation, because the invitation basically suggests that someone sees you for who you are, recognizes your gifts. So you can't do anything, you can't share, you can't initiate, you can't do anything unless you feel like someone has seen you for who you are. And so when someone reads for you, whether it's in human design or it's in astrology or it's in any other modality, you just get so high and happy off that because you're like, oh, it's not just me that sees everyone else.
Why,
people can see me.
That's why I always loved astrology. I always had an astrology reader for years and years and years. That's so funny. Projector. Jessica's a projector.
Is she? That's her. What's her name?
Jessica is the one she's very gifted at love. So, like, she does the composite charts beautifully. One on top of the other on top of the other. And then your relationship, you can read these, has its own entity. You guys are saying goodbye, Marianne. Good night, Marianne. Somebody said, I'd really rather have Jenna take a look at my situation. So that's what I'm saying, Cece, is like, you can look at it and you can glean bits and pieces. And there's some way that Jenna has. It's just like this. Whoo, it's so cool. It's so cool how you do it, Jenna. I just knew it. Like,
she saw it. Like,
I saw it.
Sphenic authority, her hits, just like her intuition was like, do it.
I was like, read. And I was like, where did that come from? Like, it didn't come from me. It was just literally like, Jenna needs to read. Duh, it's obvious.
Well, I mean, that's how I feel about charts. The chart's just obvious to me. I just see it, you know? And maybe we all have that thing that just comes so easy and so natural to us. And what a great world would it be if we just all were doing that, you know?
Kristen has, Kristen's a projector with splenic authority. So, Kristen, that's exactly what I have or am. Some of it. Then it gets so much more complicated. What gates and what's your blah, 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 and this thing and that thing that make it so interesting, and what's your progress chart. But not to make it sound too overwhelming, because human design can be overwhelming. If you take it piece by piece, it's not so.
Yeah. If you recognize that it's not like, oh, all projectors with splenic authority have to be exactly the same as me. It's just like, that means that we have the same mechanics of moving.
Yeah, like, well, I'm finding out that there's projectors that are definitely not like me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a fifth of the world is a projector, then
there's going to be plenty of projectors who are not the same.
Like, neither of us are that much like Obama. But he's a projector too.
How does he do it? How does he do that? How do you be a projector and be president of the United States? Like, I have
no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, can you be a generator projector? I'm an actress and love to just put my head down and work hard, but I have to be invited to do the part. Well, the invitation isn't so much like that. The invitation doesn't have to be like an offer to get a part. Invitation is much more of an energetic exchange where it's like someone says, I see you for your gifts, can you share your guidance? So it's not an invitation like the traditional invitation where like an invite has to come through the post in gold lettering, or like someone has to formally ask you. An invitation in terms of energetic exchange means, I see that you have guidance to share, will you share that guidance with me? Rather than a projector kind of like insisting that just because they see something they have to like lecture about it or boss someone around about it or share it when it hasn't been solicited.
Asked for.
Yes.
It would be like if I know something, because I do, and then I decide to push my way or my knowledge on you, it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we also do need to be invited into love. We're not really the type to ask someone to marry us or to go on a date necessarily or to push for a job or a book sale or it's sort of like we do our work and then get invited to the next level, which is our biggest challenge because it's just really hard sometimes.
And manifestors are the opposite of that. They're like, I want to get a book deal. Okay, I'm just going to go out and be me and get a book deal.
I say what I want.
And they just initiate, and that's how they get things. And generators are supposed to say to the universe, I would love a book deal. Can you send me like tons of different options, and I will say yes and no to the things that the ones that light me up and the ones that don't.
Projectors can't even say that.
The projector can say, the projector basically how they magnetize is much more about not necessarily knowing what they want from the universe, but just much more like, let me figure out what I'm really, really good at and hone and refine that and nurture that little niche that makes me like really good at my guidance. Like her Dara's guidance, the things that she really sees and notices are different than mine, and a different projector might be really good at, you know, business acumen guidance or know how to be a good consultant at a bank or whatever. But it's all about like basically raising your vibration to like nurture your niche.
So our job as projectors is to raise our vibration, which in my world means just making sure that I'm happy, making sure that I'm doing things that make me happy.
But
I do have a special. What?
You do things that help you learn more about all the things that you're really good at.
I do.
You make your home nice all the time. Like, how many hours have you clocked into like improving a home or decluttering or feng shuiing? Like that's you indulging in your education to become a better expert in your field.
I learned about feng shui, or
and you practice it and you live it and you do it all the time, right? So it's like projectors live what it is that you are fascinated by, and then trust that people who will want to know how you do it will be magnetized towards you.
Right.
It's not so much about like, you know, send me things that I want to then grab. It's like, send me things that will invite me, and I'll just follow the invitation.
Right.
So it's really fascinating.
It ain't all about the hustle.
No.
For some it is. For some, hustling is like the thing.
Yeah. Depends if you love it. But there should be no such thing as hustle into things that you don't enjoy. Like there's no pushing or contorting or like forcing of it, like
or head gaming or thinking your way. Like it's not.
Hustle should just be reframed to like think of like just dancing with life. You know, like a ping pong game between you and the universe, where it's like sending you things and you're responding and you're like dancing and you're getting your proverbial elbows dirty in the mud. You know, that's what I think of generators and manifesting generators. That's
getting your elbows dirty in the mud.
Yeah.
And enjoying. John B. said, hybrid generator projector. Wait, can you be a generator projector? Okay.
You can't. You're either a generator, manifesting generator, manifestor, projector, or reflector. Those are the 5 types.
And then your many nuances
within those.
Within that, but you are one of them. And I think some people don't like human design because they think it's like a life sentence. Like, this is it. You're not changing. They like dancing with the universe. I do too. Dancing.
It really is. That's what it is. Like, I said to someone today, and you know, sometimes like, I think I get more out of doing readings because the things that come out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, that's the medicine I need to hear sometimes. So I said to someone today, do you think that the soul in all of its magnitude came down here and reorganized an incarnation just to do work? Like, how crazy does that sound? Like, of course not. The soul wouldn't come and do all those things just to come here inside a body.
Like work. To be bummed out
and do like the heavy stuff. Like, why would it do that? Like, it's so much more light and fun and playful than that. And generators are really the fun, and man-gens actually, the super playful ones, but you know, generators are really the sparkly, juicy, magnetic ones. And so, you know, we need everybody to be that type.
Would your soul come down just to go from point A to point B and have drudgery in between?
Right? Sounds crazy.
Drudgery is not the word for any of us.
Yes.
Any of us.
Yeah. We all need to be free and happy.
Get that.
And we just have, you know, we have different ways of getting there. And so if we can figure out your way of you getting there, then that's one more of us, one more puzzle piece of a human being that's like contributing to a better puzzle.
Right, and then you get to see somebody living their design, and it looks so refreshing.
Yeah.
And possible.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, when you see someone living their design, it's like they just become so, whoever they are, whatever they are, that person is just like, you can't get enough of that person.
Right.
You know, when people are living according to who they are, it's like everything falls in line for them. When can you see the unseen, accept the knowledge from source if you're grounded in? What do you mean by that? When can you see the unseen, accept the knowledge from source if you're grounded in earth? Well, I guess it depends what you call seeing the unseen, because I tend to believe that we're much more magical than we believe ourselves to be, and that we all are psychic and empathic, and that's our natural state, and it's just about uncluttering yourself from the beliefs that things have to be so concrete.
Well said. Well said.
I don't think anything is like, we're all shamans, we're all spirit guides, we're all magical. Like,
we all have intuition.
Yeah. It's about how you like nurture it, and you have your own guidance system, of course, and you have your own ways of accessing wisdom and knowledge, but we all can see the unseen because we're just we're spirit, we're like infinite.
So, like, human design says you're supposed to decondition all the things that have conditioned us to not feel our own intuition and to follow our own inspiration and intuition and heat and magic and sparkle. It's like we're taught we should do this. Yeah. We should get married. Well, why? Yeah. We should have this job till we're 60, then retire. Well, why? We should have, you know what I mean? Like, it's,
but like, think about your daughter, for example, Jada, who's totally, from the sounds of it, like living her design now.
Yes.
But that's because you told her when she was a kid and you nurtured that in her, of like, you're a unicorn, you're magical, you're amazing. Like, it makes such a difference.
I told her one day, I was like, okay, I can finally tell you. She was like, what? I'm like, you are a superhero and you have a superhero power. And she was like really little, and I was like, she's like, well, what is it? I go, well, it's this thing in you, and you know things. And I was really certain of it. I'm like, you know things. I'm like, and a lot of children, like when we spend time with children, they say things and we're like, whoa, you know something, like, whoa, you know it. Anyway, so I said, you know things, and I want you to remember that. So no matter what anybody says, a teacher, a friend, even mommy, and even daddy, if it does not resonate with your inner superhero power, I do not want you to listen to it.
That's amazing.
That's way before I knew she was a manifestor.
Wow.
So when Jenna came in and she was standing in my kitchen, hey, Jessica S. So
I mean, I was amazed when I like heard how Dara raised a human being, because that is really the way that we all need to, like, it was just so refreshing for me to even know that it existed, right? You know, and imagine how different the next generation could be if we all.
I think I would have liked that too. I would have liked that. I would have liked somebody saying, you're not too sensitive, you're just so sensitive. Like, wow, you know things. Or, please listen to that. And if something doesn't feel right, and this goes for any child and any human, I believe, there is no authority outside of you. So, like, if something doesn't feel right in your belly, and we're so used to telling kids, oh, mommy and daddy aren't fighting. What are you talking about? Everything's fine. It's like, well, what? They kid just heard you yelling in the other room. Oh, everything's fine. Well, no, it's not fine. So, like, you're teaching them to not listen to their... Wouldn't it be better if you came and you're like, yeah, it's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of an issue, but we're so going to work it out. Or... You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or maybe we won't, but it doesn't have anything. It doesn't have any bearing on your safety or your okayness or your worth or whatever.
I would say to Jada, we got this.
Yeah, that's so
I would change songs for her. I would make the words fit the situation. I would. But the biggest thing about her, I always felt like she did know things, and she had like a handle on things that it was so beautiful. So when Jenna came in and said she was a manifestor, I was like, that makes so much sense. Like, manifestors can't be told what to do. No. She always hated me telling her a bedtime, and I only told her a bedtime just because I wanted her to have a decent amount of sleep. Yeah. But when Jenna said she's a manifestor, I was like, I probably shouldn't have given you a bedtime. And then she was like, this is awesome. Yeah. You know? And, you know?
Yeah. My sister was a manifestor too, and she literally taught herself how to read in the dark because she was always forced to go to bed prematurely. And so now she has a skill
of reading in the dark. Yeah, they will do what they want anyway.
Whenever, yeah.
And I think that the more you get mad at a manifestor child for not being how you want them to be, the sneakier they're going to be, and that's just not what you want to raise. So,
or it ends up going the other way, and it totally suppresses them. You either like create a total rebel child, or you turn and like you make them shrink and stay small.
Yeah.
And then think how much deconditioning that is. Like my sisters already had to go through so much of it, of being like just being okay with being me, and if people don't like it, then that's nothing to do with how good I am of a person, or how worthy I am, or how well intentioned I am.
And you're helping her.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, imagine if all manifested kids could know that, or all projector kids could know whatever.
All projector kids could know that it's okay to not have to go out and be social all the time, or that it is okay to rest or unload or unload the other people's energy, because you just absorbed it all, and maybe you know, there's so many things that it's precious to know what your child is in human design. That's so funny. I've often described my daughter as a manifestor, even though I didn't know about this, because of her executive chart astrology and the way she does manifest. It's good to hear you say. Yeah, that's really cool.
And don't you think that all children are just so tapped in, whatever they are? And, you know, if we don't blunt that, then that's just like saving them from so much work that I know I've had to do. You know, from the things that were told to me in childhood, and the things that were shut down in me in childhood. And we're all born already with all this magic power, and so many of us spend our whole lives trying to get it back.
Every single person's born with their own magic power.
Yeah.
Every single person.
Yeah.
It's not just my daughter. Yeah, she said some amazing things. Wow. Which children do if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
They do.
I think so.
Instead of like, I remember hearing mothers speak to their children way before I had children and being horrified. Like, how are you saying that to your child?
Wow.
It was all I could do not to like say something at the mall.
Really?
I remember having a sense about me when I was young. Like, this one mother, the little boy was upset about something or wanted something, and she said, "You're such a whiner." And I was like, oh my God. I knew at that moment that kid was going to grow up thinking he was a whiner. And I was like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So the names we call ourselves and our loved ones and our boyfriends and our girlfriends, instead of just going, if you know human design, you could be like, of course you're demanding. You're a manifestor. Of course you don't like me telling you what to do. You're you know what I mean? Like, it's so much more.
It's celebratory rather than judgmental and like condemning. But even if you don't know the mechanics of it, speaking to someone and only speaking to their good stuff is a way to nurture like their own self-worth and their own value in themselves, rather than like, you know, just thinking that like it's okay to kind of like suppress people like that with these dumb labels that we like hold on to so much.
We all need reminding, you guys. It's not just you or not your brother or not your lover. All of us.
We're all in the same boat.
Seriously, like, I need reminding all the time. So how many of you guys want to hear more about the way the different types love and the way the different types have sex, or their sexual reality or fantasies, or about how we all need to eat differently?
Yeah, we can do all of that.
Sleeping. So
super important.
I think Valentine's Day is wrapping up. We've had roses, and there's a tree of roses in the corner.
It's like living in a florist. Really,
we have like, I brought Jenna those flowers, like kale and cabbage, from the boyfriend. This is from my boyfriend. That's from me to Jenna. It's all so cute here.
It's 11. The candle, the Palo Santo.
And
what could we ask for?
Right, we're sharing. So I'm gonna go upstairs, and roses and balloons and
yay. About a manifesting young person not like being told what to do. Yes. Manifesting kids, if you have a manifested child, just give them a mobile phone and let them raise themselves.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jade is so independent. You're welcome. We love you too. Where's the chocolates? Jenna's not eating chocolate, but I brought her some anyway.
She did. I'm gonna give them to my boyfriend.
I was like, give this to your boyfriend. It's so good. It's like
it looked delicious. There's peanut butter and coconut milk or something, or peanuts and
it's coconut milk with jungle peanuts and salt. It's insane.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go eat a bar Love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Romance in all ways.
Yes.
Light a candle for yourself. Take a bath. I'm gonna go take a bath. You're welcome, John B. I'm so happy. I know it's like 5:00 in the morning wherever you are.
Wow.
So thank you for being with us, and we'll see you super soon, like tomorrow. Bye. Bye. We're stopping.